Ugh, you said you were over him, but his hoodie is still in your rotation. It's time. Grab your phone, snap a few pics, and sell it on Depop. Listed in minutes, with no selling fees. And just like that, a guy 500 miles away just paid full price for your closure. And right on cue.
Hey, still got my hoodie?
Nope, but I've got tonight's dinner paid for. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste. List now with no selling fees. Payment processing fees and boosting fees still apply. See website for details.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Nothing brings people together quite like Team USA at the Olympic Winter Games. From NBC Universal's iconic storytelling to the innovative technology across Xfinity and Peacock, Comcast brings the Olympic Games home to America, sharing every moment with millions. When Team USA steps onto the world stage, people aren't just watching, they're cheering together. This winter, everyone is all on the same team. Comcast, proud partner of Team USA.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
This happened Friday early afternoon before, or after, excuse me, we had all left for the week. Tiger Woods got involved in another car accident and has a DUI, and I'm having a hard time getting my head around the fact that one of the most recognizable athletes in the history of America shows the symptoms of being an addict, shows the symptoms of having to self-medicate on pain stuff. And I was asking you guys, I remember this conversation the other day because I know that most people who have money problems think that money solves all the problems, and if you didn't have money problems, you would then be okay. So a lot of times, rich people don't get your compassion or your empathy on things. So when I said to you guys, how many back surgeries has he now had, Jeremy? Is it 9? When I said to you guys, hey man, like him still trying to play golf with all of that torque and still having all of these surgeries suggests that none of the other surgeries are working. So he's constantly waking up in pain. And if I asked him, hey, how much of your money here could I get rid of if I promised to get rid of that pain, I'm guessing he would give up a lot of his money not to wake up over in every morning in some kind of pain. Our pharmaceutical problem in the United States and the world is a giant one. You mix pain medicine with alcohol, it'll make the pain go away. And I know a lot of people, everyone is saying, why don't you just get a driver? A driver doesn't make the pain go away. And yes, of course, he should get a driver. But I am now left with the impression, and tell me if it's an unfair one, to think that if he's getting caught this many times with reckless car accidents, he's probably not getting caught every single time that he's doing it. He's not so unfortunate that he can't hide any of these or he can't cover any of these up. So when I present to you guys, hey, is this the behavior of an addict? Does Tiger Woods have a substance problem? Do you guys just land on yes? Of course now at this point he does.
I do, yeah.
What can you say?
Yeah. Did you see where he flipped his car? It was a cul-de-sac.
And what time of day?
Yeah, like he blew a zero. So like this is I've dealt with it in my life, and it was always a dicey proposition when that person would get behind the wheel and they got into accidents, and they would say that they're in pain, but 10 years after the procedure, you like the drugs too. Like, I don't doubt that he wakes up in pain, but I also think that could be an excuse for someone that also really likes the drugs and he needs to get his life in order.
Oh, but when people are saying, and I get why everyone ends up there, just get a driver. Yes, of course, there's too much damage. I mean, people like their freedom, but yes, of course, get a driver. But if a person can afford a driver in a way that all of us are like, what are you doing? Just get a driver. Do you know how much access that person has to pain medicine? Do you know how much access that person has? You think of addicts rummaging through your parents' belongings in order to sell things out of desperation. This person can have access to every single thing they want every time they leave their cul-de-sac.
I think that's two different conversations. This guy's been hearing for 20 years. Get a driver. He very clearly values his privacy, so he can go out and do whatever he sees fit. And part of that is what we saw play out. Possibly. And TMZ is reporting that he's not getting a driver. I don't know how they would know that, but it's a report that came out.
Kind of the same situation with Patrick Mahomes Sr., right? That every time we see him in the news, it's like he's got another DUI. And it's like, at what point do you just like tell the guy, hey, you can't leave the house without somebody taking you somewhere? It doesn't happen.
I mean, I understand how that might be frustrating too, right? Like that feeling of a lack of freedom, we look at as a luxury. Like I wish I had someone who could drive me around all the time, but I could see in the eyes of an addict in particular, well, you guys don't trust me? Like there's a lot more beneath the substance abuse, right? We like to just do a one-to-one of saying, oh, it's because he's high or he's drunk or whatever. That's why he acts that way. But, he acts that way. And then these things enter his system and then that exacerbates the situation. Him stopping doing whatever it is he's doing, he blew zeros on the breathalyzer, so he wasn't drinking. But him stopping the pain pills or whatever will not stop the underlying urge to do it.
I just don't think that we have a comp on a person who has lived this kind of public life as a thing. It's like learning Michael Jordan now had some sort of substance problem. He has been a pillar of excellence at something for a long time. And I remember how betrayed everyone felt because they believed the Buick commercials and were like, how could he be cheating on his wife? I can't believe that this person is not the regal country club figure and icon and pristine symbol that I've always known. This is a flawless human being. How could he be immoral at his core? But what do you do with what it is that you're presently seeing, where you have 3 incidents now involving a car, one of them that introduced us to the entire secret of his life, which is a golf club is being used to hit the back window of his car in a domestic confrontation. There is also the body cam video in the middle of the night of an officer clearly talking to a slurring and not fully functional Tiger Woods. This is a DUI charge, even though you guys are saying it's blowing a 0-0. How does that work exactly? Like I didn't think there was such a thing as a DUI charge that has that kind of breathalyzer reading.
So that happened actually to Dylan Brooks a few weeks ago in Phoenix. He was pulled over for quote unquote driving erratically. He did a breathalyzer. He did the field test and all that stuff. And he's still arrested and booked on a DUI because the officer said there's a scent of marijuana, and I have suspicion that based on the way he was driving, that he is impaired. They can arrest you without having a positive kind of any presence of alcohol in your system.
Well, but the alcohol is what I wasn't thinking that this is a DUI alcoholism. I think because of the way that he was slurring in the body cam video that we saw in the middle of the night, I'm always assuming pain medication, and I'm assuming it because I will say it again. What's the number of surgeries, Jeremy? Is it indeed 9?
It's 7. It's 7 back surgeries at this point, and the reason he gets a DUI is because he did do the breath test. He refused to do a urine test when asked, and he did tell the officers that he had taken medication for prior injuries.
I will ask the group, if I make the addiction to pain medication, Do you find more compassion in your heart because of what the excellence cost him? When I say 7 surgeries, right? A lot of these are the same surgery. They're going back in to deal with pain because he's got back problems. It's the reason people thought he wasn't going to catch Jack Nicklaus, is because back problems end up harming just about everyone in that sport.
You know what else harms other people, Dan? Like killing somebody with your car.
Yeah.
I know you're an empath, and I don't doubt that he's in pain. He needs to get help before he hurts somebody else. Do what you want to do on your own time. Hire a driver and deal with your issues privately. But when you're getting behind the wheel of a car, as you're endangering others.
I am not forgiving the behavior, okay? I'm simply looking at it and saying to all of you, do you guys know how rare it is for someone of this iconic status? I mean, Maradona was sort of in the same boat, but Maradona we thought was reckless throughout his entire life. Do you guys realize how rare it is for someone of this status to become this late in life a danger to himself and others?
I would say that Tiger Woods has been known to be reckless for several years now, and I don't think it's all that rare. You cherry-picked one from sports. In celebrity, we see this all the time. He has afforded to him a life of excess. He has people willing to feed his current addictions the same way that top-line rock stars do. It's a very dangerous situation for him.
It is an interesting thing you brought up, the idea that typically when we think of an addict, we think of someone like, hey, I got to pawn this VCR to get like one more hit. But when your financial situation offers you literally limitless, like there isn't enough drugs he can do to like run out of money and then have to scrounge for it. When there is no barrier to access, where's the edge of that cliff? And again, that's why I go back to, man, it goes a lot deeper than the guy being addicted to something. It has fundamental issues with how he feels about himself beyond the physical, right? Imagine, again, think about, who was it? Who wrote was it Wright Thompson that wrote the really deep Tiger Woods feature where we learn he's doing like Navy SEAL training because he's trying to feel a connection to his dad who passed away, who was in the military and all that. And it makes you think, if we're doing armchair psychology, you talk about the pain, Dan. Imagine someone who was raised to be the greatest ever and then lost the person who inspired all that, and then also feels like, I'm not the greatest ever. I fell short of that goal. How much does he hate himself beyond the physical pain?
I fell short by finishing second.
Yeah.
Because I'm the second greatest ever in majors, and most people would acknowledge, if I asked everyone who's not a golf fan, hey, who's the greatest golfer ever, most people would just say Tiger Woods.
Yes,
they wouldn't say Jack Nicklaus.
You know who wouldn't say Tiger Woods? In Tiger Woods' mind, probably his dad. And that's his whole life was seeking the approval of this man.
He's also benefiting from an adoring public that is not really casting that much judgment on him.
Still trying to protect him.
Still trying to protect him. There are reputable journalists that are doing selfie cam vids that are emotionally talking about this, getting him some help. Everybody is rooting for him, and because his success in sports has afforded him a certain lifestyle, no one looks at him like a junkie, despite really reckless behavior behind a wheel that would be in line with people throughout pop culture and in sport, really, that you would say, man, that person's a junkie.
The thing that I would say to you, though, is different when you say rock stars or celebrity. Very few have ever had as pristine a reputation as this person did. He's coming from the country club. Like, he's coming from,
we're a long way removed from pristine. Pristine was 2008, 2009. It's damn, man. His kids are adults now.
Not since the Marlins started 3-0 for the last time.
Remember, like Tiger Woods' little kids they're adults. They're adults, man. Like that. Pristine is long gone. It's out the window. It's not Diego Maradona, obviously, who you said was another boat. I was like, man, he's another ocean. That dude was on another plane.
But the point I'm making about, yes, it was a long time ago that Tiger Woods was viewed as pristine.
Right.
But what is rare is all of a sudden in the 40s, whoever you thought was an icon of professionalism, oh no, that person's showing the behavior of an addict. That looks like junkie status. Like it's not a usual path. Normally with the rock stars, with the Charlie Sheens, which whoever it is that succumbs to the temptations, those people have bad boy in them before their 40s.
I'll give you an example, and maybe this is probably not a great example, but it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. But Mickey Mantle was worship. Mickey Mantle was an alcoholic, but like combination of like his status and also the way sports was covered at the time.
Well, that's a good point
because they kept the secrets. They didn't put it out there. The Mick was
the thing that I said about Tiger Woods is that the rules literally changed on him to catch him with his pants down. We did not cover Michael Jordan that way. If we had covered Michael Jordan that way, following him around, we would have found other stuff in his divorce and otherwise that would have taken some of the mythological status.
Yeah, but Tiger Woods is not victim to a new standard. People actually do protect Tiger's privacy, especially in Jupiter. He is protected. He is in this bubble. He is beloved. If Michael Jordan had police reports the way that Tiger Woods does, you could not avoid that type of coverage. Tiger gets in his own way. And it might end up being a good thing because this is not, you're going to kill somebody. This is not sustainable. This is a very dangerous situation. I mean, there are probably plenty of people in sports and otherwise that deal with this very same thing, and you do not know about it. Hey, Roy, buddy.
Yo.
You know that energy shift when the game gets good and everybody, all together, in unison, knows to stand up on their feet?
Oh, absolutely, Mike.
Yeah, you've been at many big-time sporting events. You know that moment quite well. That's what it's like when you take your first sip of Cuervo.
Oh, delicious.
It's the signal that says, we're not checking the time anymore, pal. It's when small talk turns into stories. Cuervo, man, it's that high-five a random stranger effect. That's right. The game is popping. You're hugging people you never met before. That's the kind of energy that Cuervo brings. It's so smooth, so delicious. That's the Cuervo effect. Keep it Cuervo.
He's right about that. I mean, he's right about the fact that the only reason we know any of this about Tiger is because it's the police involved. These things become newsworthy when the police get involved. That's how they get in front of us. Lord knows how many people have kept some of these things out of the public.
Including the police.
Right.
Like, it's because the police are involved because it was so egregious. It's like the one in Palo Verde, right? Like in California.
Yeah,
it's like,
he flipped his car in a neighborhood. It makes me think, how many times has he been pulled over? That the charm and superstar of Tiger Woods being in that driver's seat, he's allowed, hey man, let me drive you home. Let me give you we'll take care of your car. You can get out of this jam.
Yeah, man. Like if it's just we're never getting the report that Tiger Woods was doing 45 and a 44. He got pulled over and then he had dilated pupils. We're not getting that. We're getting, oh shit, he almost died again, like in a car crash. Like that's the ones we're getting. It's literally the most egregious. It's surpassing a threshold of we can keep this a secret. And that's what makes it different than perhaps anyone else. I have no doubt there are celebrities, superstar athletes, singers, movie actors, whatever, all over the country who have probably done things that regular people would be arrested for, in terms of under the influence, right? But it's just like you can't go 10 meters past the limit and still continue to believe that I'm going to be protected unless you have some sort of internal, self-destructive, self-sabotage thing that's happened with you where you're like, man, I just don't care anymore. And that's the part where I get worried. Why are you smiling?
Well, Roy shook his head and Tony shook his head at the self-sabotage.
Damn it.
A Resource Rex situation.
They both noticed this. Justin Timberlake has a body cam video of him being arrested in the Hamptons. Do you guys remember his discomfort about telling the officer, I'm on world tour?
This is going to ruin the tour.
This is going to ruin. But he was trying, and the cop was like,
Try to be subtle, but without being subtle.
Well, right. Well, yes, that's exactly what was happening. He just said something about the world tour, but then the officer said, "What do you mean?" And he couldn't.
He's like, "This is awkward" or something.
No, he just couldn't explain what a world tour was. He couldn't. He was trying to figure out the creative way to not say he's Justin Timberlake subtly, but he was under the influence so much that subtlety escaped him, and he made it worse by trying to do it subtly.
I'm gonna tell you what, Dan. You want to talk about the charm and the kind of the charisma that these guys have in these moments. In that same video, when he's looking over the report, race white. That's the 10 out of 10. That's the charm right there, man.
Funny.
The charm offensive.
You know what? Let's forget this whole thing.
Exactly. Like
we'll drive you home.
It's a hell of a Hail Mary. It's like, yo, let me see how I can thread this. Oh my gosh, man. Imagine having the wherewithal to just pull that one out.
I mean, world tour. Not a lot of people can just sort of throw at the officer some form of world tour. But then he couldn't explain what a world tour was until he just says, "Yeah, I'm Justin Timberlake." And that didn't help him at all. No. Because when the officer has you in his sights there, I do wonder how many times Tiger Woods has gotten away with something like this in his enclave because he's not flipping over the car. The time of day, right? It was the time of day.
2 p.m. is woof.
But when you think, let's make this not Tiger Woods. Let's just make it somebody who is an addict. If I give you all the world's means and anytime you leave the house and go anywhere, someone's willing to take you for a party. Like any single time that you go anywhere, the temptation, whatever it is that sobriety requires in terms of maintenance, doesn't have quite the temptation involved that Tiger Woods has anytime he steps into public. Anytime with his means, he can get access to just any single thing that he wants. In some ways, it's the most dangerous kind of addict. It's the kind of addict you need to take freedom from because he's going to hurt himself or somebody else. You can't keep flipping cars. You can't keep flipping cars at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because your judgment is impaired. But when I put in front of you guys the 7 surgeries for the same thing, 7 surgeries for the same thing, back problems, you assume he's in a giant amount of pain, correct? You assume that that's the starting point on all of this, that he's medicating pain. That if I give anybody who's listening to this, who's in pain, if I put in bottle form something that's going to take you out of pain, we're all going to get addicted there. Everyone is.
No, that's a cavalier statement. There are plenty of people that go through knee pain, corrective surgeries, whatnot, and they don't get addicted to it. Look, these things are highly addictive.
Not with these means, Mike.
I'm not comfortable speaking with that kind of base level knowledge. I just know I know what it looked like in my own experience with family members that it ended up killing them. I do think that there are some aspects of this that are that there is some selfish behavior here, some reckless behavior here. I mean, Kurt Angle somehow found a way to get off of his astronomical intake. There are people that power through that have real addictions and somehow find a way. And while addiction is a thing that needs to be dealt with a certain type of tact, I also am not on team let's absolve this kind of behavior, not especially when you're getting behind the wheel of the car and can take other people out.
Dan, I keep going back to this. Like, yeah, he's in a lot of pain. Yeah, he has access to drugs. Man, there's something else happening there that's not about surgeries or back pain.
But you guys misunderstand. I'm not saying that addiction can't be managed, though it is hard, and I would say pain medicine addiction probably has to be among the hardest if we're not talking about heroin or crystal meth. What I'm saying is anyone who is in pain and wants to relieve the pain and finds that relief in a bottle, that person can get addicted and then can figure out how to manage it. But Kurt Angle first got addicted, that he figured out how to manage it. It starts with wait a minute, there's something that makes the pain go away? Yeah, it's going to destroy my organs. Yeah, it's going to shorten my life. But today I get to wake up and my back doesn't hurt? And I'm not thinking about my back hurting? That would be a temptation for anyone who's in a substantive amount of pain that requires 7 surgeries. And I'm not even excusing the behavior. You're not wrong in any way. Of course, he's fortunate that he hasn't harmed someone yet.
No, I mean, in part, his body's in pain because he got into a car accident before, too. It's not just the back. His leg got completely jacked up. I definitely have sympathy for what he's going through, no doubt. But there is a level of behavior here that definitely deserves being criticized and is dangerous. And he is in the position where people are rooting for him. He hasn't yet hurt anybody, and I hope to God it doesn't get to that point.
Also, how does he still have a license? I'm just let's start there, right? You can't drive anymore. Not you shouldn't drive anymore. You can no longer drive. I think at this point we can say, regardless of whatever's happening with him, and we hope he's all right and all that, you forfeited the right to be able to drive a car at this point.
But who's going to enforce that? Who's going to tell Tiger Woods, hey, you can't do that anymore?
The government? The DMV?
It hasn't happened yet.
He's got friends in high places.
I'm just saying at some point.
No, but when that happens, I don't think Dante Stallworth can drive anymore because he killed somebody. I think he is still being driven around however many years later on this strip of land over here that I know that for many years, maybe he can drive now, but for many years he couldn't drive. How many car incidents is this for Tiger? Is it 3? Because the golf club and the back of the back window of the car, that was not a DUI incident.
No.
It was
I think he ran into a tree.
Yeah.
In all that, which is why the police got involved. The police weren't responding to the club being hit on the back window. He flipped his car. I don't think recently. I don't think that had anything to do with it. When he was leaving the shoot in California, he just got
one?
Yeah, I think he just got in a bad accident. He did have the previous DUI in which, I think NBC during their golf coverage had to apologize because they showed the wrong incident when they were trying to talk about this one.
You're talking about they had so many Tiger Woods DUI incidents to pick from. They're like, oh, my bad. Not that one, this one.
I don't think it's 4 DUI incidents, but I do think it's 4 car incidents.
This is the 4th car incident. So the first one, when it was everything with his wife, he hit a fire hydrant and then a tree in Orlando at 2:30 in the morning. 2017, he was found asleep inside a vehicle. And then in 2021, it was life-threatening car crash in Los Angeles.
So you're of the thought that will get your car just taken away, your privileges as a driver taken away, because I do believe you have to harm somebody. It's not Patrick Mahomes' father he got several DUIs over a course of time, but he also didn't harm anybody other than himself in the doing of it.
Yeah, I live in Arizona, and it's like a zero-tolerance state. They can literally book you for a DUI for just you could blow a .01, which I believe is like mouthwash, and that they can
send you to Tent City.
Yeah, book you and put you in a very uncomfortable. We don't have Tent City anymore, but it used to be this literally tents. It was outdoors in the sunlight in the middle of summer.
Yeah, Barkley got sent there.
Yeah, so
they make you wear pink underwear.
Yeah, I never understood that part. I think
that's racist Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Yep, Sheriff Joe.
That's what that was. What do you mean you never understood that part?
No, I never. I don't understand. Oh, this is a punishment. You got to stay outdoors in the summer. Oh my God, that's awful. Yeah, and you got to spend 30 days with convicts and people. Oh my God, that's awful. And your underwear is pink. I'm like, okay.
I don't even understand it. What is that?
Can we go back to the sunlight?
What was that rule? How did they put that in place?
I'm wearing pink underwear right now.
That was racist Sheriff Joe Arpaio did whatever it is that he wanted back when America was great again.
Racist Sheriff Joe Arpaio, not creative Sheriff Joe Arpaio. That's what they never call him creative.
No.
It's like, and we'll make him wear pink underwear.
Yes.
You want to talk about kiss asses in a boardroom? Those guys are, yeah, you tell him, Joe. Come on, man. That's the best we can come up with for punishments?
Don Le Batard.
Ahoy is Captain Slappy.
Stugotz.
Is this Chum Bucket?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I wanted to get to some NBA stuff with Amin being here and not necessarily the Raptors going on a 31-0 run against Orlando. That is, we've been talking a lot about the Heat around here, but Toronto and Orlando are really in no man's land. Even if you look at the way Indiana and Dallas have made it to the finals the last couple of years as middling seeds, Toronto has no earthly way of getting past the New York Knicks. Like there's no circumstance in which they will play the New York Knicks and then defeat the New York Knicks. If they avoid, what do you mean? What? They match up very poorly with New York.
It's just there's something about you have Quickly and you have R.J. Barrett. Like if I'm gonna write Knicks horror story fan fiction, it's R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly destroy them in the playoffs, and then it's like, oh my God, it's all happening again.
Jeremy, can you look up for me, please, the number of times consecutively that the Knicks have beaten the Raptors, both in both countries?
Both countries.
No, because I can't remember the last time. I don't believe this group of Raptors has beaten this group of Knicks. I don't believe, not one time. Every time I watch those two teams play, the Knicks are winning by double digits. None of the games are even close.
Dan, I can tell that you don't think that the show is big in Toronto and in Canada because after an incredible, historic feat that they accomplished last night, you're going after them for not beating the New York Knicks. They had 31 straight points that the Orlando Magic couldn't score a point. Not a free throw, not a putback. Not nothing.
You know how hard that is?
31.
It's hard enough for
4 touchdowns and a field goal
for an NBA team to not be able to score in that span. But Orlando's actually a good team. It's not even like, oh, the Wizards. If this happened to the Wizards or the Kings, we'd be like, oh my God, you guys are terrible. Orlando's actually a decent team. They could score 31 unanswered.
The Knicks have beaten the Raptors in 12 straight matchups dating back to 2023. But they're not going to square off in the playoffs unless they get to the conference finals because Toronto's presently the 4-5 seed. And they'd go against Cleveland. But I guess if the Hawks catch them, that's how that could happen.
That's how it's happening because the Hawks are on fire. We're tuning up for that 3-6. But again, 31-0 run, I'd be out of timeouts. I'd get ejected.
Let's do something. Run the court, tackle somebody.
At 21-0, like I'm out. You guys got it. you figure it out.
That I don't know if that is the game that made it 81 games this season decided by 30 or more points, but it's never. This is the most it's ever been. This is the most, but numerically, empirically, the most lopsided this league has ever been. There have now been, according to Tim Reynolds, 81 games this season decided by 30 or more points. It's a new single-season record, topping the mark of 80 last season. This is the new normal, correct? The new normal is there are going to be more blowout NBA basketball games than there have ever been. Is this a small sample to look at the 2 seasons and tell you 30-plus point victories are more common today and in the last 2 seasons than they've ever been? New normal, correct?
I mean, yeah, because again, it goes back to what we talked about with Duke and UConn, which is when the three-point shot becomes more and more prevalent. And I'm telling you that your defense really does not have that much of an impact on whether they make or miss. Your defense has an impact on whether they take or not. Then you have this kind of variability because you can go through a cold stretch and you can go through an incredibly hot stretch. Having said that, this one right here, this is for the books.
A 31-0 run.
I mean, look, I don't know how. I don't know how that's possible. I honestly don't know how that's possible. How do you get to that point of I'm going to score and not be scored on for that long of amount of time, for that amount of points? Like Tony said, you didn't get an offensive rebound, not even a tip back like one of these. Not even, hey, they got fouled kind of 40 feet from the basket, now they're in the penalty. Your level of basketball was so inept that you couldn't even manufacture a single free throw. That's next level.
What did you think of the NBA's anti-tanking proposals?
Oh, boy.
They've obviously spent a lot of time thinking about this. They're trying to fix a problem that doesn't appear to have fixing. What are your thoughts on what it is that they submitted before the public?
Dan, this is what happens when you don't have a culture of vigorous debate internally. Because you come up with ideas that are so preposterous. Let me go glass half full. The simplest idea they came up with is actually the best one, which is every team the 10 bad teams plus all the play-in teams, they all get into the lottery. The 10 bad teams, they divide 80% of the odds among them to get a top 5 pick. The 8 play-in teams, they divide the remaining 20%. And so it doesn't matter whether I win my play-in game or not. Doesn't matter whether I make playoffs or not. If I was one of these teams, I have a chance, and my chance is just as good as the other play-in teams. I like that. It's nice and simple. There's no risk of anyone saying I'd rather be a 7 than a 6 in order to have ping pong balls. It makes very clear the lines of delineation. Teams would rather be in the play-in and in the playoff than not, but you don't miss out completely. When you start to talk about, and we should include the teams that lost in the first round of the playoffs. Why? Or we should calculate how many wins you had the last 2 years, and if you had 14 wins, we'll say you had 20. I'm like, it cannot be something where I have to pull out a manual to explain to people why their team does or does not have a chance of getting into the lottery. And then the final one, and this one, I was like, yo, I would have laughed in the room if someone brought this up. We're going to have a lottery, and then we'll have another lottery. If you miss that lottery, we get another lottery at the 5x5. Like, these are insane. Like, and anytime these news stories come out, Dan, I always think the same thing. That's not only the stuff that made it through emails and conference calls and, like, spitballing in your office to the Board of Governors meeting. That's also the idea that they felt comfortable enough. Hey, Shams, these are our 3 ideas. Like, for that to be leaked, are they trying to prove to us, hey, we're trying our best? No, you're not. Not if that's one of the ideas and someone said, you know what, put it on the list. No such thing as a bad idea.
But is that something to kind of get the temperature of what fans are thinking, fans are seeing, and be like, you know what, like, that's something we were thinking about, but we're not going to do it because there's been such bad reaction to it?
I'll tell you what the temperature is. Sub-zero.
You think they're all bad? There's no. You've heard nothing. You've heard nothing good. Here.
I think the one where you include play-in teams into the lottery, albeit with smaller odds than the non-play-in teams. I think that's nice. It's simple. It makes sense, right? And it's easy to explain. I think all the other ones, not only are they overly complex, but I don't think they address the actual problem. And it's like going to the doctor and saying, I have a stomach ache, and it says, here, rub this on your forehead, this Vicks on your forehead. Like, no, but I have a stomach ache. Oh, no, you know what? Let me prescribe some Manjaro for you or whatever. Like,
Abuelas was saying.
Bivaporu works. You know, if you're sick, you put it on your feet and then you put socks on. Takes it away.
My favorite tanking rule I saw proposed on Emotional Hoops, and it was by a fan that said what you should do is, based off the standings, you then draft opposing franchises that you think are going to be the worst the next season. And that links you to your pick for the next draft. So if you were the Pacers, for example, you have the worst record this season, right? You then enter the draft with the number 1 overall pick. And what your pick is I think the Jazz are going to be the worst team in basketball next year. And so your pick is attached to another franchise. So it totally disincentivizes tanking because your picks are not linked to your own franchise and their record. And it creates rivalries out of nowhere for a year.
I mean,
because you think someone's going to be bad.
What is the look you're giving him? I feel like.
What do you think about it?
Well, I'm looking at just his hand, right?
Fun.
He's stoic and he's staring at your face, and I can't tell from the look of his face how he feels about what you were suggesting. But I watched him curl the microphone cord there, the headset cord, and the way he was using his hand there suggested to me that he hated your idea, that he hated that you were bringing that out in public.
The ball pit in the warning track of a baseball park idea, in comparison, feels like very sound.
You got it wrong.
That's crazy.
It was a trampoline warning track. The ball pit was on the other side of the fence.
Thank you.
So you fall
Had
in
to be
safety.
said.
Yeah.
Had to be said.
Jeremy, the thing is, you're the team. You go up there and you're like, we're going to draft AJ DeBanza, but then also the Jazz.
Well, this year. You have to start it for 1 year with something like that. But realistically, then moving forward, all you would be doing is
He just said
going
your
to the next
idea
season.
was so bad
And then he held
I mean,
up a
not
great
my
idea, though.
I specifically told you where.
But he held up a great idea.
Ball pit is a great idea.
The trampoline ball pit. I mean, if it would make more sense if he had a bad idea.
Weren't there also lagoons in the outfield?
Yeah.
I like the warning track.
Every team could put a pond wherever they want in the outfield.
Yeah, if you want that hazard there, go for it. Some teams opt for a sand
You can
trap.
only change once a series, though. You can't every game.
I'm glad you explained that.